This is KMCV Channel 7, the only local channel covering all of the CNMI.
Hi there, KMCV News is coming up, and here's a quick look at our stories. 2 men are sent to the hospital this afternoon with injuries received when their truck flipped over by Rudolfo's. The injuries were minor, according to CHC officials.
And where is used oil disposed at? Too often it washes down drains and sinks, causing problems for CUC's sewer division.
And Congressman Pete Rages says he intends to move the Rhoda-Mayor out of a house built with government funds and move in government agencies.
Those stories and more coming up next on KMCV News. Stay with us.
Buenas noches para todos. Tao Saipan, Lutazan, Tinian, Guahu, si Carlotta de Leon Guerrero.
Half a day and good evening. I'm Nanette Miranda. Thanks for joining us for the Wednesday cast of KMCV News.
Longshot Willie and Vicky Tudela join us later with sports and weather. But now for the top of tonight's cast. A man is in the hospital this evening after his truck flipped over at the lower base of Capitol Hill this afternoon. A witness says the truck was delivering hardware goods from Saipan Trading Company to a cargo ship in lower base when it went off the road near Rudolfo's late this afternoon. Both the passenger and the driver were taken to the hospital. The passenger is okay, according to CHC officials, and has already been sent home. However, the driver, Pamtilo Valtazar, is still complaining of pain. The hospital will be running more tests and x-rays on him. No details yet as to how that truck flipped over.
Environmentalists are sure flipping over the used oil problem here in the NMI. Used cooking oils, motor oils, and other greases are hurting our natural resources because there's no safe way to get rid of it. Here's that report. Because many cars and generators exist in Saipan, the island is up to its ears in oil drums. Piles of it sit around in storage because a proper disposable facility for used oil doesn't exist.
In Saipan, there's nowhere to get rid of it. There's absolutely nowhere. No one wants to know about it, and obviously you can't take it to the dump or anywhere like that. It's very dangerous for the soil, so we just keep it here.
The lack of proper facilities to dispose of used oil is in turn causing a lot of environmental problems. The waste is actually getting dumped onto the ground or leaking through the drum's rusted metal.
With the type of soils, well, not soils, but the geology that we have here, that it's very easy for things like oil and any other contaminant to go from the surface and reach the groundwater.
People also dispose of their oil by flushing it down the toilet or pouring it down their sink or into their septic tanks. And the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation says the oil hinders the sewage treatment process when it reaches their plant. The oil kills the bacteria which are needed to make waste safe before it ends up in the ocean.
So once the oxygen level goes down because of diesel or oil, grease, and fats, there's less treatment.
CUC crews often have to clean up the oils before they damage the facility. How much damage can oils really do?
Well, I couldn't put a dollar amount on it, but it's the work that has to go into it to clean it up and get it back in its running condition. It takes time to do it.
Meanwhile, Saipan's Division of Environmental Quality is seeking answers. Some entrepreneurs have pitched their ideas on how to dispose of used oil, but there aren't any real plans at the moment to take care of this problem.
We can say protect the environment by storing this and not disposing of it until you have a better alternative. And then we get the same questions back: how long do we have to store it? And our answer back is until somebody comes up with a good solution.
Fines as high as $11,000 can be levied for each and every day used oil is illegally dumped.
Input continues to pour in now on whether lawmakers should or shouldn't raise taxes. The business community, for the most part, is opposed to a tax increase at this time due to the sluggish economy. We asked a number of college professors and administrators today how they feel about the administration's efforts to revamp and increase the island's tax system.
Well, I think that some kind of tax reform is needed. We have to have as much revenue as we're spending. I'd like to see any increases in taxes done in conjunction with tighter budgeting policy, and a passing of a budget the government can work with, rather than just trying to raise money indiscriminately.
I agree with some of the positions that have been taken by DFS and Bob O'Connor's, that the government should really look at its expenditure, because there are probably areas that they have to cut on expenditures, the unnecessary maybe staffing and travels, and perhaps that the size of the government has gone overboard.
I think we should exhaust first the ways and means of how we're going to do with what money we have now, how to maximize the usage. And I think the money management is very important. I know the easiest solution is just raise taxes and get some more money. But I don't think it's going to solve our problem if we don't do a very comprehensive look into our economy and how our government works and how we're going to prevent those excess spending.
If the government needs more money to run its programs, then maybe new tax programs have to be enacted. Yes, should be studied first, but I know in the long run there's going to be some kind of taxes put in, whether it's a sales tax or a new income tax structure.
I feel there is a need to increase taxes somewhere, because the college itself has cut back as much as it possibly can. People haven't been getting their annual increases for over a year now, and the system needs a greater infusion of money. But if there is going to be an increase in taxes, I would like to see that it's going to go to areas that really need funding, and not simply to create more jobs in a bureaucracy.
The tax reform package that the Finance Department put together is now being reviewed by a House Special Committee chaired by Congressman Pete Regis. He's already held one public hearing on the matter and intends to schedule another one. Lawmakers are inching closer toward passing reform legislation. Their actions could clear the way for federal approval of our $120 million 702 agreement that's now in the U.S. Senate for a vote sometime this week. According to House Ways and Means Chairman Congressman Pete Regis, members of the House and Senate will meet in conference committees tomorrow on the Alien Labor Bill and the Developers Tax Bill. Regis expects the stalled budget will also be discussed tomorrow in preparation for Friday's proposed double sessions of the House and Senate. Acting Speaker Diego Benavente says he'll schedule a House session for Friday or the first part of next week, depending on the work that's done in the conference committees.
And coming up next, Tinian Senator David Singh is urging the new Assistant Interior Secretary to stop on Tinian for a visit.
And the president of the college says no budget means no financial aid. The CNMI Constitution authorizes the government to provide housing for the governor, the lieutenant governor, the Senate president, and the Speaker of the House. But one more official residence, a home for the Rota Mayor, has been unofficially added to that roster. Now, two lawmakers are questioning if it's legal for Mayor Prudencio Manglona to use public funds to build an unauthorized home. Here's that story. This spacious Rota home overlooking the ocean is where the mayor of the island, Prudencio Manglona, lives. The living situation for the Rota Mayor is unique among all the other island mayors in that he has an official residence that was built with government money. Manglona says he used money from the same fund that he built the Rota Roundhouse for community events with. The roads on Rota were also built with money from this fund, and he says the firehouse and the Rota Gymnasium were also built with money from this fund. On May 29th, Mayor Manglona told our KMCV News crew that an official residence was necessary for him because his personal home did not meet the needs of his office.
In order for the people of Rota to receive their visitors, as well as to present their problem more freely. If I live in my own private house, there's some sort of problem because it's congested as well as embraced by a lot of business in the area. So not be very accessible.
Senator Juan Torres and Congressman Pete Regis are looking into the legality of reprogramming government money to build a house for the Rota Mayor's office.
The use of the government housing
where the mayor and his family resides is something that the committee questioned. And we question that rightly so, because there is no law or provision in the Constitution that allows any other person than the governor, the lieutenant governor, the speaker, and the president of the Senate to reside in government housing.
Manglonia says Torres and Regis are voicing their concerns because they know that his son, Vincent, is running for the office of Rota Mayor, and he says their questions are meant to make him look bad.
Our people cannot stand in their own 2 feet. They're using a senator from Saipan or congressman from Saipan as their dog to go after me.
Regis says he's always respected the mayor and didn't want to entertain requests for an oversight hearing on the House issue until Regis looked thoroughly into the matter, but he resents the name-calling.
The people of Saipan, especially the people I represent in Precinct 4, certainly takes that as an insult.
Regis says the government spends a considerable amount of money leasing office space on Rota, but he says that figure could be reduced.
We can probably insist that the space there for guests, the guest house, should be converted to an office space. We can insist that that be used for that. We can also insist that since there's no legal basis for the mayor to reside there, that he move out and make that available for government leases.
Mayor Manglonia has held his office for the past 15 years and 6 months. He only has 6 more months to go before he completes his 4th and final term in office.
Tinian Senator David Singh has a problem with Assistant Interior Secretary Leslie Turner's travel plans next month. It seems she's included stops on Saipan and Rota and omitted visiting Tinian. In a letter to her, Singh points out to her that, quote, Tinian was the focus of the Commonwealth Covenant negotiations as a full 2/3 of our island was leased to the United States military for national defense purposes, end quote. Turner will arrive on Saipan July 3rd and is scheduled to visit Rota on the 6th.
Efforts to revoke the island zoning laws are picking up speed, according to one of the lawmakers behind that movement. House Floor Leader Stanley Torres says he and Congressman Herman Palacios have collected about 800 signatures in order to put the need for zoning laws on the November ballot for the voters to decide. The two need to collect 2,000 signatures.
The people would vote yes or no. Yes to reject in its entirety, and if they vote yes to reject, then the zoning law will disappear, and the zoning office will be closed and dissolved. So it's up to the people to vote yes or no, and if they vote no, then the zoning law would continue and function.
Floor Leader Torres will discuss this issue more in depth tonight at 7 o'clock when he appears as a guest on the John Anderson Show, live call-in talk show on this channel. The House sent their version of the budget to the Senate 9 months ago, in the middle part of September. While the budget is being reviewed, the government is operating on a continuing resolution. The first agency to feel the pinch from the non-passage of the budget is the Northern Marianas College. President Agnes McPheeters says until the budget passes, there's no financial aid for summer school students. And students hoping to study off-island this fall may not be able to make registration deadlines on time unless the budget passes.
For students who will be going off-island in September, which will be leaving probably in August or late July, they have to have the money before they go so that they will be admitted and accepted in the school. Without the passage of the budget, we cannot disburse the funds. The fiscal year 93 budget include $1.9 million, which will cover the fall semester. But since we are on continuing resolution, we cannot touch that. We have exhausted all of the funds that had been authorized to us under fiscal year 92.
President McPheeters has been lobbying for the budget's passage, and she says the chairman of the House Fiscal Affairs Committee, Senator Jesus Sablan, has assured her in their conversations that the budget will move soon. And the Senate is scheduled to meet in session on Friday at 10 a.m. The session is open to the public.
Proficiency in the English language is crucial for all college students, and since many students learn English as a second or even third language, they often need a helping hand in the language upon entering college. Today, a handful of 20 students who just completed the English language course at the college were recognized for their achievement. NMC President Agnes McFeeder says the lessons learned will carry them through their college years and beyond.
What they have done really is laid a great and strong foundation for you to continue. Without this, the foundation of your college education will be flimsy, because English, as you know, is the official language we use. Although we learn other languages, but it's the official language we use to go through college.
The class was taught by NMC Professor Vince Riley. And our sports professor here, Longshot Willie's on the set to give us details on what he's got in sports.
Okay, get your paper and pencil out. We have diamond notes on the Major League Baseball. And the rapping Shaq Man is back on video. For today's sports fans, if you are a powerboat enthusiast, there's a new association forming called the Northern Marianas Powerboat Racing Association. Its purpose is to stage closed-course hydroplane racing. Participants are expected from Guam, Japan, and the Philippines. The boats are approximately 10 feet long with 30 horsepower outboard motors. The top speed is projected to be around 65 miles per hour. The cost of a boat, motor, and trailer will be under $4,000. All boats and motors are identical, so the only factor to determine the winner will be the skill of the driver and, of course, lady luck. Public participation is invited as a sponsor, boat owner, driver, or as an official. For more information, contact Frank Oliver at 234-5498 or Roland Johnson at 234-9696. And in local basketball for OU coaches, there will be an important meeting regarding the upcoming Saipan Rotary Club Youth Summer Basketball League. The meeting will be 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday, the 22nd at the ADA Gym. For more info, call Joel Izama at 234-1001. The Chicago Bulls and the Phoenix Suns have an extra day to rest. The coaches are having more time to prepare their strategies. Here's Fred Hickman in Chicago.
The Bulls aren't interested in reinventing the wheel, only in slowing the roll of the Suns in Game 4. And one adjustment Chicago is looking at is how to better space their half-court offense and get more people involved.
I think we got to just penetrate and get guys like BJ going in the game. But the main thing is if we're going, then that's going to make things a lot more wide open for BJ and Pax and Boris and Bill or whoever's out on the court.
In Game 3, the older the contest got, the more Jordan and Pippen were called upon to carry the offensive load. They were 2/3 of the Bulls' offense from the fourth quarter through the third overtime.
And when everyone starts missing shots, everyone gets very hesitant, and someone's got to take the shot. So I think if we can get more successful with everyone knocking down the shots are going to get spread without any problem.
One of the guys who could help ease the load of Chicago's Big Two is point guard B.J. Armstrong. He barely pulled the trigger from the fourth on after scoring 19 in the first 3 quarters.
During the course of the game, we're trying to get shots for other guys, but sometimes it ends up in those two hands one way or another, and they're forced to shoot it.
But at least one Sun would have us believe he couldn't care less how the Bulls adjust.
I can't worry about what the Bulls are doing. I've got complex questions involved in my life. Like what? Whether the Nike stock going up today? Who got killed on my soap opera? I don't have time for many of your questions.
Welcome back. We had another beautiful day today under sunny skies with winds gusting up to 25 miles per hour and the high temperature in the near 90s. For tonight, expect partly cloudy skies with isolated light showers, winds easterly 10 to 15 miles per hour, and the low temperature in the mid-70s. Moving now to our regional temperatures, we posted a high temperature today of 88 degrees. Rota and Tinian both posted the same temp of 87 under sunny skies. Palau was under rain shower with an 82-degree reading. Our neighboring Guam posted an 88 degrees. Yap was 86, Panipe was under cloud covered with a high of 83 degrees, Majo was 86, and Chut today was 85 degrees under cloudy skies. And in the Pacific, Manila posted a high of 86 under hazy skies, Honolulu was 83 under mostly cloudy skies, Hong Kong was 86, Tokyo was under fog with and in the upper 70s, so had a steady 69-degree reading under hazy skies. Taipei was 86, and down in Sydney, Australia, the temperature was 54 degrees under sunny skies. Seas tonight will be slight to moderate 2 to 4 feet, surf conditions 2 to 5 feet on northern clockwise through southeastern exposures and 1 to 3 feet elsewhere. Our first tide this evening will be a high of 1.7 feet due up at 7:12, and the tide will drop to a low tide of 1.2 feet just hours later at 11 o'clock. The sun will set at 6:49 this evening, and sunrise tomorrow morning will be at 5:47. And for tomorrow's forecast, expect sunny skies with isolated light showers, winds usually 10 to 15 miles per hour, gusting up to 25 miles per hour, and a high temperature in the near 90s. And that's for all our weather report. And we are out of time, but we do have a few programming notes to pass along to you. Please stay tuned for Chamorro News next with Mina De La Cruz, and after that, join John Anderson for his live calling talk show at 7 o'clock. And John's guest tonight will be the House Floor Leader, Stanley Torres.
All of us here at Mariana's Cablevision, thanks you for joining us tonight. We hope to see you again tomorrow night. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Good night.
Good night. Just